G'day and welcome. It is Friday, and I've held off for this preview because I wanted to see. I was really intrigued about the changes this time around. Um, get to that shortly. But this is the preview for our round seven clash against the West Coast Eagles at Optus Stadium on Saturday evening. The Eagles, 17th on the ladder, we just hanging on for dear life inside the top eight. But we look outside that top out at the moment, and there's some teams there with genuine claims to come in: Geelong, Sydney, and the Western Bulldogs. So, yeah, we're not fooled. We're not fooled about that position inside the top eight. And West Coast Eagles are a very interesting prospect on their home deck. I'm sure Adam Simpson will see this as an opportunity for them to get their second win on the board. It was funny, actually, because I was reading a West Coast Eagles fan forum during the week, and a couple of their supporters were saying, you just watch us play Carlton into form. I had to laugh at that. I really did, because that sounded like us when we were down the bottom, and I've been planted on the bottom. When we used to come up with against a team that, that was maybe out of form, we used to always say, we'll play this mob back into the form. And we generally did. We generally did. So I fully expect a win. I fully expect a win against the West Coast Eagles, but there's no doubt Simpson will have this group primed and ready to go to get their second win of the season at home. And they've had a weird last couple of weeks, the Eagles on the road. The gather round at the Adelaide Oval, then they had to stay there and play Port Adelaide last week. I don't know if anyone saw that Geelong game, the Eagles, when they played Geelong, but that was one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. Geelong just blew them out of the park for the first half, and then the Eagles, I don't know what happened there, but it almost like Geelong just put the cue in the rack, and then the Eagles, they played against witches' hats at times. They showed a little bit in that game, but there was just no real pressure in that game. And then last week against Port, they were never really in it. Although they showed some signs, young Jai Cully kicked 4, looked really exciting, mid-season draft pick for the Eagles from last year, kid from Melbourne, NAB Rising Star nominee. Yeah, he's got some real tricks. In fact, their front half with their mobile tours, I sort of look at that and think, yeah, there's some real potential there, particularly around Oscar Allen, who's been out for a long time. Jack Darling, he's a very good player. He's a very good player. Maybe he's at the back end of his career, but and Jake Waterman as well, who's really working up the ground and getting back as that mobile tall, and Cully as well. And probably the only thing they're missing at the moment is some genuine X factor at ground level. I know they got Sam Petrescu-Seaton at times, and Petruccelli, who's been a bit of a disappointment for the Eagles, I must say, Petruccelli, but he can on his day with his speed cause some genuine headaches. But I feel if they can somehow at least halve the contest in the middle of the ground, that's a forward line that can cause some headaches. And it's not like we're travelling beautifully in our back half. It was a strength at the start of the season. I think they stood tall, but as the confidence and pressure grows, cracks appear in this group, in our defensive half. And Wiedering hasn't been in super form. Young's been all at sea after a decent start to the season. McGovern is in and out of the team with his injuries, and we're now bringing back Sard and Doherty. Sard on the back of a hamstring 1 week out, and Doherty that sort of defies logic, to be perfectly honest. And I love seeing Brody Kemp in there, but there's some inexperience down. Well, not inexperience, but I'm fascinated to see what Brady Kemp can actually offer this group. I really do. Um, so yeah, game on. Game on if the likes of Oscar Allen and Cully and Waterman and Darling can have days out because they're getting some free ball. And they have some genuine speed through the middle of the ground. Um, and I think Jaden Hunt has been in terrific form, whether it's across half back or on a wing coming across from Melbourne. Tim Kelly and Andrew Gaff are everything that our midfield needs. And I know there's probably only two of them in there. They've got a really hard nut in Ruben Ginby. Picked up last year in the draft, highly rated, real tough kid. And I actually like Bailey Williams in the ruck for the Eagles. And I like that contest. I like that contest up against Mark Pitnet. Because he'll have a red hot crack, Bailey Williams. Don't worry about that. He picked up a lot of ball last week against Port Adelaide, and he does play defensively, so he'll fill in the hole. He won't test Pitnet forward, but he wins a lot of the ball, and we know that Pitnet is pretty much a hit-outs to advantage type player, and does sweep F all around the ground. So, and look, I'm trying to, I suppose, look at a case where the Eagles can really take it up to us. And Barras will probably take Mackay. He'll do a reasonable job, you would think. Rotham will take Charlie. He'll try and play him tight. And they've got some run and carry. Okay, Jermaine Jones, Witherden, Liam Duggan will all get on their bike, okay, if they can. And we are struggling in our front half, particularly with forward half pressure. So, yeah, fascinating game from that aspect. But I suppose, just to finish off, I fully expect us to win. I really do. But it's around, for me, the next 6 weeks for us, around method and around consistency of method. And if we're happy, if the coaching staff, in conjunction with the players, and they have total trust in this method that we've been playing, and if we're led to believe, okay, our footy manager, Brad Lloyd, who was on radio over the weekend, who said they're happy with the game plan, okay, well, the proof will be in the pudding. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm not going to get all up in arms about selection at the moment. It does seem strange that guys who are continually pressing, Dow, Fogarty, Carroll, and Binns, okay, are being overlooked, particularly Paddy Dow, and you just have to now make assumptions around what the hell is going on there. It is a fascinating watch. The potential of Greg Williams' influence on that, the footy director, and the fact that he's had comments in the past about Paddy Dow, and now he just continues to get overlooked. The situation of Matthew Kennedy playing down back for 2 weeks and now has been omitted. The perseverance with a Lockie O'Brien as sometimes as a sub and in and out of this. Now he's gone. There's a lot of question marks. One on the list, but also now on the coaches in regards to this team selection, the way we play, and my God. And what I'll finish with, guys, here, because I don't want to make this a long one, because it's probably not going to tell me a lot, because I fully expect us to go over and just have enough to win this game of football. I'll finish on this thing. And I always come back to Brian Cook at the moment, because I feel like he's such a big player in this at the moment. When he first arrived at the football club and listening to his interviews over the course of the first 6 months at the club, when we were flying at the start of the year, and when he first arrived, he was asked questions. What surprised you when you walked through the doors of Icon Park? What surprised you? And every time he said, what surprised me about this football club, it is resource rich. It is resource rich. Now, I assume resource rich means sponsorship, money, facilities, access to people, and just resource rich. And I would assume that the West Coast Eagles are resource rich as well. He was there. Okay, he built that resource rich club, and now Geelong are resource rich through him. Now, he said when he walked into Carlton, it was already resource rich. So we're a resource rich club. The Eagles are, and we just know the Eagles will turn. They'll turn. They've done it before, and they'll turn again. And they're on their knees at the moment, player list wise, but they'll turn. Now, whether that's Adam Simpson, who knows? But we just know. They were there in 2018. They won the grand final, and in the modern era, this fucking football club of ours has never been a player, never been a player, a serious contender, never, never once. And I'm not talking about hype as a player. We're just as a supporter group, we've been cheated. We've been cheated. And if this is it, if this is it, and we're 6 games into 2023, but if this trend continues, this resource-rich club of ours that Brian Cook said he walked in and it's resource-rich, and now he adds to that. If this is it for us, it just leaves you, and I don't want to look too far ahead with that, but if this is it, we slip outside the 8 now, and we finish 9th or 10th, and it's just, yeah, it's a club that's always in 2nd or 3rd gear, then fuck me dead, man. This is a disgrace. Okay, it is a disgrace. So, and I'm not working in hope and praying anymore. I'm just demanding this club of ours give us something which we deserve as supporters. Give us something, because this has gone on for too long. And that needs to, if we're looking at this game against the West Coast Eagles, it's probably not going to tell me anything new, but it has to start. It has to start. It actually has to start now, because we know a loss will be disastrous, but it actually has to start now. I mean, really start now. And then we win this, and then we go into a Friday night game against the Brisbane Lions, bang at Marvel Stadium, and then, okay, it just, yeah, it can't keep going along the way it is. Not this resource-rich club of ours. What the fuck are we doing with these resources? Yeah, what the hell are we doing with these resources? Speak soon.